I don't like to, you know me, I don't like to dump on anybody,
No,
but
you don't. And I'm not jumping on her either. I'm
no,
just,
we're not. I know we're just airing stuff, but I do hope that she finds her soul again. And I hope she finds her soulmate too. I don't feel like she's happy.
you don't with her marriage.
No, I don't feel happy with her. I feel like she has this idea of love, you know? And I feel like their marriage is it's safe, but safety doesn't always mean comfort. Safe just means you have a meal tomorrow, you
Yeah,
know?
like they spend, this is why I'm not married. Because if
No.
someone were married to me and they said David is the safe option, that to me is the worst kiss of death. I would never want someone out there saying I was the safe option.
Oh,
That's,
110%.
I'd rather be
Because
single forever.
well, that's the thing. I feel like there's definitely like an area where we like, okay, we feel safe with our person with comfort, but they're not because they're safe. There's all these other qualities. You know what I mean? So if you describe your relationship as safe as your first word that comes up to it, then yeah, then I would definitely, think about, am I in the right relationship? And how do they feel about it? Because obviously if they think you're the safe option too, it would be just as heart-wrenching, right? To just be other people's safety nets. I guess it's
Yeah.
like, those friends you make, like, pacts with. If you don't marry by your 60 or something like that, you guys will get married or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, if you guys aren't gonna marry now, then why are you gonna get married then? Doesn't make sense. It's the safe bet.
Yes, well, I mean, look, she's in her she's in her sixth season, but in the beginning, when the show first aired, her and her husband were estranged. Now they've gotten back together.
Oh,
Also, they live apart in some theory. Like he has a big job in Ohio, I believe, and she doesn't even live in Salt Lake, even though she rents a house to be on the show. She spends her time in LA and New York and different
mhm.
places. So they do, not that that can't work. I know people like Belinda Carlisle, the lead singer of the Go-Go's. She has, if you know who the Go-Go's are, I don't know if anyone, but okay, I
Absolutely.
mean, we're like around the same age, you and I. So she has been married, she and her husband have been married for decades. I think they just had their 40th anniversary and they just openly don't live together. She lives in India half the year. She lives in New Mexico. It works. It works for
It
them.
well, it works wonderful for people, and sometimes I feel like that little separation of each other is fantastic. Like, when my husband and I got COVID, we ended up sleeping in different rooms. He had COVID first, and then I slept in the guest room. And then afterwards, we were kind of like we spent 2 weeks at like a week and a half apart from each other, like in the same house, but like, separated. And I was like, was that actually kind of enjoyable? He's like, that was amazing. I was like, yes, it was amazing. So I feel like those type of things are great to have your separation as long as you have the respect and the communication. It wasn't like we were ignoring each other. We communicated with each other. We were in the same house, but we were both self-isolating, sick. You know what I mean?
Right,
Different
totally.
COVID. But at the same time, it was really enjoyable. So I feel like people do that because it's not neglect. She feels neglected. It's not the communicative relationship. It's not the soulmate relationship that she's looking for. You know what I mean? Or the idea of soulmate. I feel like soulmates are like, we can talk for hours about that stuff. I have a very controversial view on soulmates. So,
Oh gosh, I could talk about that stuff forever too. We'll have to do a show on that because
yes.
I have a very controversial view on relationships and just yes.
And humans. I have a very controversial thing on relationships. I don't feel like humans are meant to be monogamous. I feel like we're trained to be monogamous,
Do
you
you
know?
think people have more than without we could do it 1 second chat on this your
Yes.
large theory about soulmates, but do you think people have more than one soulmate or don't have a soulmate at all? It sounds like you think they have a soulmate.
I feel like people have a soulmate, but I feel like the soulmate is more of a person that puts us through our biggest test. I don't feel like soulmates are easy. I don't feel like, it's not like, oh my God, this person we're so easy. I'm like, that's amazing. You found somebody that you can really communicate with, but it doesn't mean you're a soulmate. Soulmates usually make you work. They make you face your inner demons because of who they are and the pull that you have towards them. You force each other to get better. And when you force each other to heal, healing sucks. Nobody wants to do it. So half the time
Yeah.
people run away from the idea of this person that you feel so bonded with, connected with. It's like in your solar plexus, you feel the connection, but you also know that you have to jump through hoops to be able to even have that thing. So a lot of people just end up being platonic soulmates. Platonic soulmates absolutely work too as well. I don't feel like it always has to be a relationship. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you're like, this is your person and now you have to be with them. They're your lobster and you live forever. No, 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 no. It's a person who really pushes you to be the best version of yourself. But also in the same time, you do the same to them. So a lot of times people just bounce off each other because one doesn't want to do the work and the other one does. And then it goes on for the rest of their lives that they miss each other, you know?
Interesting. Yeah, we could do a whole show on that. And yes, seeing your soul, this is why when people really want to be single, they date people that are bad for them. I'm convinced that that is like you actually getting what you want. You're playing victim, but you're choosing people that you know are bad for you because you're just scared to fall for someone, and this just makes your life easier. Woe is me, I'm meeting the most horrible guys. Well, yeah, of course you are, because that's what you really want.
Well, the thing is, those people go into those same relationships because they realize that they have to heal in order to accept a good relationship. So if they already know what they're going to get, it's like going to a restaurant and ordering the same food every time. I'm not going to explore anything else. And it always gives me indigestion. I always know it's going to give me heartburn, but I like the flavor of it and I eat it. But I know later on in the evening I'm going to regret it. You know what I mean? But I know I'm going to regret it. I know I'm going to get hurt and I know this is damaging. So at least it's less anxiety. You see what I'm saying?
I
But something
do.
you never know if that pillow, that soft pillow is going to catch you again. Is it going to be like the first night and the best sheets you've ever slept with, and the second night is not as good? You know what I mean? It's just, you don't know. And then you realize it is good and it is good. And then, but the anxiety slowly goes, but people don't give themselves enough time to actually get to that comfort space with a person because they crave the quick pain because they're used to it. It's it's
Interesting.
yeah, another thing we could talk about for hours and hours and
You
hours.
could come on here and just do not psychic type shows. We could just do therapy because this is
I know.
I like agree with everything you're putting down as far as that goes. Well, listen, everyone needs to go to the psychic source. Use the code Velvet. You get a $20 reading. Everyone's great. You can search for any psychic. You can just get in the waiting room. And if you do find a psychic like Raquel that you want to go to, you have to wait. Like when you're online, it will say available, and then you click on that and you get put in the queue, I believe. If people try to schedule an appointment, that's great. It doesn't qualify for the $20. So lots of people have been telling me, why can't I schedule an appointment? I'm like, that's not how this works. But when you're online, it will say online, and then they just go into the queue. So
Exactly, and if they enjoy it, you know what I mean, become a regular member, they always have member coupons and member codes and all
totally.
kinds of things all the time, and once you're a member, you can schedule an appointment with, I feel like, a number of advisors. I'm not sure if it's open to everybody. I know it's open for me, where you can schedule an appointment for next Tuesday or, I really wanna talk to her in the next hour. Oh, she has a selection open. You know what I mean? It's like cutting in line. Hint, hint. So if you see someone's got a line and they have an appointment in an hour, book it. I know you have to wait an hour before you can book it. So you can book it and then basically you just cut through the line.
Totally. No, there's a lot, and a lot of the people that listen to this are members now, and they're telling me about like their second and third. There's one
Oh,
guy who listens to me who tells he's literally running down the list of like, if you ever have new psychics in the program, here's my top. I'm like, God, how many readings have you had? But I love it. I love
love
it.
that.
Me
I
too.
love that.
It's
It's so
great.
good.
Thank you for another great chat. You're going to be back. So thank you. Hopefully this doesn't, I didn't take up too much of your time. I appreciate
Not
it.
at all. Not at
Okay.
all.
I could
Always
talk to you for hours. So
I know. And we should totally do a show on just like therapeutic sessions and
I would
like
love that. Okay. I'm going to plan this.
let's do it.